Okay, we want to consider some of the reasons why you embark on power audit. There must always be a reason why you go for power audit. The first point that is before us is that power audit will give you first hand information on how much it will cost you to switch to solar power. What this means is when you go for power audit, all the information as to how much it will cost the client to switch to power, to solar energy, will be made available during the power audit exercise. If you don't go for power audit, there are certain information you will not be exposed to. Example, what will be the length of cable that you will use if you don't visit the site? If you don't visit the site, how will you know the mounting plane that you will use for the mounting of the solar panels? Because the mounting plane and where the powerhouse will be plays a role on the costs of the solar system installation. How will you know the roof type, whether the roof is in good condition, whether the roof will need replacement or amendment? So going for power audits will always give you first hand information as to how much the whole project will cost. And we are equally saying that the electrical load information, building information, energy management opportunities, electrical architecture, you have to be familiar with this, will be made available during power audits. When you go for power audits, you will be able to know the building information, the electrical load information, and you possibly suggest to the clients on ways to go about managing power in the facility. And we are saying this that all this information will be made available during the power audit exercise. Then another point is that it will give you the best possible way to design a system that will stand the test of time. That is, it will enable you design and build the best solar energy system. Visiting a site for power audit will help you know exactly what the client is looking for. But if it were just to be a phone call, you might run into issues when you finish giving the client quotation. Maybe when you go to sites, what you will be seeing might be different from what the client told you on phone. So now we want to talk about executive summary. We all know what executive summary that means. I can stand here and explain everything as it concerns power audit. So executive summary of how power audit is addressed. When we are talking about executive summary, the very first thing we love talking about is overview of the power audit. Overview of the audit. A client come to your office and requested for a power, a solar system. You will certainly ask the client certain questions. And when the client respond to you, you will know exactly the type of audit that you are embarking upon. Is it going to be a residential power audit? Because the type of power audit determines the materials you take to site during power audit exercise. Is it a commercial power audit or is it an industrial power audit? That is overview we are talking about. And we know that preparation prevents poor performance. When you prepare for the power audit, you will be able to get the best out of the journey. So you will also be able to identify EMOs. EMOs means energy management opportunities. When you go for power audit, you will be able to advise the clients on the best possible way to manage power in his or her facility. That is, EMOs means energy management opportunities. You'll be able to advise the clients using this electrical load will not work well with solar system, because there are some electrical loads we advise clients not to use when we install solar system for them. They can do load shifting. We can separate the loads. He will be powering some of those heavy loads if he doesn't have the financial muscle to install a full-blown solar, or if some of the electrical loads consume much power, we'll advise the client accordingly on the best way to uh, preserve or conserve power, because energy management is very important to the success of any solar system installation. We will talk about this. Recommended actions, briefing on implementation plan. Maybe when you might have visited the site, you have taken notice of some things, then you will briefly tell the client how you will go about implementing the project. Most times, when you go to the site, you don't just start doing power audit. You meet your client and you people will discuss. He will tell you, are you sure I will be able to foot this bill? And you will just assess some components and just give him a brief summary of everything before he will go ahead. He will tell you to go ahead to do the power audit. Most times we visit site 3 times: pre-power audit, the main power audit, and we also go for the power audit when materials is ready to be deployed to site. Then introduction and building information. What do you mean by building information? Building information simply means taking note of certain things, the roof information, the floor, how is the electrical architecture of the building, will the mounting plane, will the roof be used as the mounting plane, is it a residential building, or is it a privately owned, or it is a rented apartment. So that is building information. Then objectives. Why do you even go solar? Most times the return on investment most times is not visible when you give some clients quotation. So you have to be familiar with this energy audit scope. How are you going to go about the energy audit? The audit team, you don't have to work alone. There must always be audit team. Building characteristics, we already said something about this. Building characteristics, is it a bungalow, is it a 3-story building, and other things. Those things will add to the cost of the solar system